So what is the current bus situation in Southern Humboldt?
Well, after tonight, we have funded the rest of the year. We rescinded 14 positions, and we're happy to do so. So we are going to provide transportation to our what we call our remote rural area, 770 square miles, for the remainder of this year.
So what possible solutions do you think there are to the busing situation?
Well, what we've learned is that Sacramento does listen. What we've learned is that when you have what some people call this organic wave that took off, that grew from the community, didn't come from the top down, didn't come from the board or the staff or the administration down, but it was a community that brought it up, and we rode that wave all the way to Sacramento, and Mr. Chesbrough and Senator Evans listened. Many Republicans listened. Mr. Stewart and myself and Susan Thompson went back the following Tuesday after that big gathering, and we were able to provide some comments to the Assembly Budget Committee that were well received. We were well received, so I'm just here to say that the way to get action is to go to Sacramento.
So you went on the state capitol trip?
I went on both trips. On the 24th, when we went down as a district, we went down with about over 60 kids in the buses, and then a lot more kids with their parents came and drove, and so there were community members, board members, bus drivers, families.
So how many in all do you think came out that day?
Oh, it's hard for me to estimate, but I think the general consensus is between 200 and 300 people. So,
if the bus funding is eliminated, how do you think it'll affect this district?
Well, it's I don't want to say it's devastating, but it's a critical issue because we have being a rural, remote district where we have kids who are scattered from Harris over to Shelter Cove and north and south. Over 200,000 miles that is our normal bus route. So it makes it extremely difficult for a lot of parents to get their kids to school. So it's going to, and the funding, if we have to have flexibility and take money out of programs to do our buses, then we're shortchanging our children's education, their academic education.
Next year, I just saw a notice where the governor now is behind funding busing again for next year. It's at a reduced rate like it was this last year, but it's out of the money if the taxes are passed.
So what solution do you think there is to the bus situation?
Well, I see the bus situation as a piece of a larger picture, and that largest picture is that they keep cutting funding for schools, and keep cutting funding for schools, and keep cutting funding for schools. And at this point, once they take the buses away, they really don't have anything else to take away from our schools. As a parent and a community member, we are already providing our schools with the basic necessities such as papers, pencil, glue, scissors. We go into classrooms and volunteer because there really isn't enough staff to take care of 30 to 40 plus children in a classroom with one teacher. That's not adequate teaching. And so from all these cuts, you know, they just keep getting more and more. And at this point, there's nothing left for them to cut out of schools except school themselves.
It's an interesting question because most people haven't really thought about the deeper issues behind why nobody wants to fund the transportation or why there's just not enough money for this. And this is a pattern that's going to keep going, you know, as we continue depleting our fossil fuels. Things are not going to get better, they're going to get worse. And it would behoove the school administration to start thinking a little bit further into the future regarding how they plan to change the structure of the daily driving back and forth.
Well, I think in general that the state of California and the nation as well needs to prioritize education. They need to fund education because education of our young people is, I think, the most important thing that we can do to make our country the best that it can be.
Well, I just want to say that I'm very proud to live in a community that is strong and that voices their political opinions and will go straight to Sacramento and take it to the people that can change things.
I appreciate everyone who wrote letters and went down to Sacramento and encouraged us to fight together because at the end of the day, it really does take a village.
I think by law, since kids are required to be in school, that we're required to get them there. The state is. So legally, I don't see how they could take away the buses.
No buses, no education. Save our buses and please education.
This is Jasmine Finley reporting for College of the Redwoods Journalism 1 class.